What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA Saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And guys, for today's video I have several quite interesting news. First of all, I will show you some weird activity that was performed by guess who? By the Facebook itself. And I have to admit that these actions might be on the one hand quite weird, but on the other hand, well, I will try to explain you my thoughts about this story. On top of that, I will show you two options, 2 points of view on one major question. Is and was MMTLP publicly tradable company or it was public company? And these two sides of one coin are very important in order to understand in what point we are now. And that is why, guys, just hit the like button. And if you want to know more about technical analysis, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel and join my Patreon account. And guys, for now, you can join my Patreon account. You can join two tiers of my Discord group. One of them costs you $50 a month, and you will have 30-minute one-on-one Zoom call once a month. But if you join with the gold tier, you will have a weekly one-on-one training session with me for just $150 a month. And guys, to be honest, this is the most popular tier for my patrons right now. And let me show you a sneak peek on the most recent activity in the Discord group. Just recently, I published the recap of the week of July 28th through August the 3rd, and let me quote you this. On Monday, I prepared a list of 13 tickers that looked most promising for short positions. As of August the 6th, 10 of them delivered returns ranging from 0.33% to 24.4%, an average profit of 6.1%, while only 3 tickers showed a potential loss between 0.85% and 1.74%, an average loss of 1.22%. More detailed information is available in the attached images. And you can see that I made this call on July 28th, and I wrote, here's a list of tickers that might present shorting opportunities. Please remember, this is not a blind trade signal. Further technical analysis is required before taking actions. And here is the list of the tickers that gained substantial profits. It is 10 of them, and only 3 went in completely opposite direction. I also gave a direct short scalping recommendation on Tesla and Oracle. Both brought an average profit of around 1.5%. In addition, I identified one ticker suitable for a medium-term short position. If you'd like to know which company that is, join my Patreon. As usual, I provided a detailed market overview and analyzed the following tickers: SPY, BBAI, NOV, UNP, NEO, UAA, and CRWV. So guys, if you want to be a part of this amazing community, join my Patreon. So, and let's begin with this tweet that was written by Junk Savvy just a couple of days ago. She wrote this and she refers to the tweet that was written by copy and paste at the same day, October the 3rd. And she wrote, so, a post stating facts from a Metamaterials BK court filing was taken down on Facebook by the so-called The Other Matter. And the poster's profile was downgraded to no longer recommended. What say you, Zach? Any conversation with any of the below entities who got served subpoenas and order for examinations? Anson Funds, Citadel, Virtu, FINRA, DTCC, NASDAQ, Schwab, TD Ameritrade, TradeStation. Somebody's got some explaining to do. Here is the post question for reference. Wouldn't it be a shame if it flooded Facebook? We are not going away. And she refers to the tweet that was written by copy and paste, and he wrote it just several days ago. And he said, this happened on Facebook after I shared a Junk Savvy post about MMTLP. The post was taken down. And here's a couple of screenshots of his profile. And it says, your profile is no longer recommended. Your profile is not following our rules. We stop suggesting profiles when they don't meet our guidelines for recommendations. And here's another screenshot why it was taken down, because of some topics that is related to other sensitive information. And the other sensitive information is this one. I covered it several days ago, and this is the tweet that was written by Junk Savvy, and she wrote: "New court filing confirms Schwab, TD Ameritrade, TradeStation, Thinkorswim, and Nasdaq have turned over metamaterial stock trading data. DTCC in discussions to turn over data for fee. Citadel, Virtu, Anson Funds, and FINRA lining up to argue motions to quash." And guys, I have to admit that if the reason of these actions from Facebook is a real reason in regards to the metamaterials and metamaterial stock, in this case, well, it is not the great news in general, because every time when someone tries to put someone's case down is not a good one in terms of the freedom of speech. But in this particular case, guys, you know that Facebook, the main company of Facebook is Meta. And MetaMaterials also has the same first four letters, let's put it this way, in its title. And I have to admit that if, and in my opinion, it might be the case, I'm not sure about this, but it might be the case when Facebook see some kind of mentions of Meta, no matter what type of context is there. I believe they are trying to prevent any, let's say, suspicious activity in regards to this word, in regards to this company, and that is why potentially this post was removed, and it was made automatically by some kind of bots of Facebook. And well, on the other hand, it can be definitely some kind of actions that someone's try to push the case of MMAT down. But in my opinion, in this case, it is not a real story, because too many coincidences in this naming, and that is why, guys, I believe that it is just some kind of mistake that was made by Facebook in regards to metamaterials mention. The main question that I want to cover on today's video is this one. You know that we have basically two parts of the community. One part thinks that metamaterials and basically NextBridge Hydrocarbons for now is a private company, and that is why it cannot be any type of shorts in this company by definition. And guys, I don't see any issues in this definition, but we have another opinion that metamaterials and NextBridge Hydrocarbons is not a private company. It is a public company that is not traded on the US stock market. And here is the tweet that was written by Sam Shine. She wrote this: "NBH is not privately held, just ask the regulators, MMTLP." Here is her another tweet that she wrote on July 14th. And she said, "It's not a really private company, ask the experts." Once again, Junk Savvy is just making up crap and actually lying to Rob Carter, because he doesn't have time to read the hundreds of pages FINRA published to answer all these questions. And Sunshine also added this screenshot, and you can see under the footnote 4, you can find this information. "In your letter, you describe NBH as a privately held company. However, NBH is not privately held by any conventional definition of that term. For example, NextBridge Hydrocarbon shares were not offered through an unregistered private placement of securities. Instead, the offering of NBH common stock was filed on a Form S1 registration statement with the SEC, and the NBH prospectus states that following the spin-off, NBH would be a public reporting company." And guys, it is still a very confusing definition, and that is why we have two completely opposite opinions. Here is a quite interesting tweet that was reposted by Daniel Spears, and that was originally written by Jennifer Vitrano. Jennifer wrote, and I'm going to give Daniel credit here. Private term has in fact been used in specific terms for next bridge hydrocarbons, referring to stock situation as per their investor relations documents. For anyone to say the word private hasn't been used ever is a bit uninformed. Jack Smithy is trying to put another person down to deal with his inadequacies. And she added a couple of screenshots. One of them is the official Next Bridge Hydrocarbons FAQ section, and here is the highlighted part. NBH, it says, it's clearly stated, NBH is a private company, and so far as its shares of common stock are not traded on a public stock exchange. NBH is, however, required to comply with public company periodic and current reporting requirements under the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. You can access the company's public filings on the SEC's website or the company's website. And guys, the next screenshot is following. It is the answer of artificial intelligence in regards to the status of Next Bridge Hydrocarbons. And it says, yes, Next Bridge has explicitly stated it is a private company, clarifying that its common stock is not traded on any public stock exchange. However, its status is more complex because it is also an independent public reporting company. This dual status has been a source of confusion for shareholders and is explained as follows. Here's the first part. Private in regards to stock trading. The company's common stock does not trade on public stock exchange. It is not listed on the Nasdaq, New York Stock Exchange, or any other market. And the second bullet point is following. Public in regards to SEC reporting. Because it has a large number of shareholders, Next Bridge is required to comply with the reporting requirements of the Securities and Exchange Act of 1934. This means the company is obligated to file regular financial and informational reports with Securities and Exchange Commission, and these filings are publicly accessible. And you can see on your right side, Amy responded to this. I don't disagree, it was for sure sold as such. I give Daniel a ton of credit simply for being willing to have the conversation and wanting to understand. I hope she doesn't think I don't. And Jennifer responded, thanks Amy, you are always knowledgeable and well read, and I appreciate you. So guys, definitely we have a lot of people who knows who knows how the market works and how these all definitions rely one to another. But at the same time, guys, this confusion that was made by regulators or by the board of directors, it is it wasn't and it is still not the best actions, and a lot of people are still confused about this. But definitely some people think that it is as clear as day. For example, Ocelot wrote this. I didn't hear that Amy had to say other than what you relate, but my take is private companies generally aren't regulated by the SEC unless they are doing a securities offering or engaged in securities fraud. I did a thread on my take on NBH's public and private status a while back. And he refers to his own tweet or his own thread that he made on end of January of this year. Let me give you just a sneak peek on this thread. On how Next Bridge Hydrocarbons is a public company. I know this may seem obvious, but it's still largely misunderstood. This will probably be part 1, and I will do part 2 in future, focusing on short positions moving into private and public companies. There are several things that can result in a company becoming a public reporting company. The term public reporting company seems to have confused people into thinking there is a difference between publicly reporting company and a public company. But in reality, there is no difference between two terms. They are synonymous. And here's the official statement, that official screenshot from the Securities and Exchange Commission website, where it says, public companies, often referred to as reporting companies, are subject to reporting requirements requirements and must file certain reports, including annual, quarterly, and current reports with the SEC on an ongoing basis. And here is the second part. And guys, I have to admit that, well, let me quote you them one by one. Next one, there are several things that can result in a company becoming a public company. The first is a public offering, probably the most common and what we think of when we think of going public. Under 15D of the Exchange Act. The second way is through being listed on an exchange. Even without issuing securities to the public, a company that lists on an exchange becomes public and therefore must file periodic filings pursuant to Section 12A and 12B of the Exchange Act. So guys, and let me quote you another one. Finally, this brings us to what applies to next breach. The last way a company can become public is through its number of shareholders. Any company that has more than 2,000 shareholders or more than 500 shareholders that are not accredited investors, while having more than $10 million in assets, triggers being a public company under 12G or the Exchange Act. As a result, must make periodic filings. In next breach hydrocarbons as one, they estimated that they would have 64,000 shareholders following the spin-off. Next breach acknowledged that the number of shareholders as well as non-accredited shareholders could potentially maintain their status as a public company even after following fiscal year of the registration statement. And here's the clear statement of next breach hydrocarbons itself, and Ocelot refers to this filing and where and when it was made. Next breach hydrocarbons does qualify for smaller reporting company. This allows them to be exempt from certain costly provisions of Sarbanes-Oxley, among other things, as outlined in their 424B filed on November 25th of 2022. Given that next breach is indeed a public company, there is nothing preventing next breach from trading. In fact, to do so, the only thing they would need is a QSIP for DTCC eligibility. A QSIP can be obtained from Global QSIP Services. For an equity issuer and single QSIP, an issuer only needs to pay for $210 for regular turnaround, estimated 1 to 2 days, or $315 for express turnaround 1 hour. Have attached fee table below. But next breach has been pretty adamant that they don't and never did have plans to trade. Here is the screenshots that proves this statement. And here is FINRA confining that the lack of QSIP is what is holding next breach hydrocarbons back from developing a market in their stock in FINRA's supplemental FAQ. While I do want to keep this threat objective, I can't ignore how bizarre it is to incur the expenses associated with being a public company, periodic filings and such, and not wanting to have the main benefit associated with being public, a market and liquidity. So, as long as next breach has this large number of non-accredited shareholders, they will be forced to make periodic filings. If next breach wanted to actually become private, the only way to actually become private would be for them to purchase their existing shareholders out. So they fall under the 300 shareholder of record threshold of Section 12G-4 of the Exchange Act. Then next breach would be able to file Form 15 with the SEC. Within 90 days, their registration could be terminated, and they would be private. This is the end of the thread. I hope this was a good explanation for why next breach hydrocarbons is a public, but also definitively putting to rest any doubt that it is anything but a public company that just chooses not to trade. And guys, I have to admit that Ocelot in his thread makes very good statements with the links to the information. And if you want to argue with this point of view, feel free to do it. But guys, just just do it like he did it back in January of this year. Do it within examples of the real documents, and you have to prove your position by the documents itself. Only in this case we will be able to identify what type of company NextBridge hydrocarbon is, and what can be the next steps, because it might be completely different if NextBridge is a public company, and in this case it can have it could have, let's put it this way, short positions during the spin-off, and when the shares were cancelled, it just disappeared. But on the other hand, if it is a private company and it was private back in the times of spin-off, in this case, guys, none of the short positions were allowed to be on NextBridge hydrocarbons, and all these actions in this case were made illegally, and that is why we can we can challenge this decision, and we can do it in court again. So I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel with notification bell, and see you guys and girls next time. Bye.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants you.